Hey students, so today we are going to discuss the topic of water cycles. Okay. Earth water is constantly moving on Earth's surface. Water moves between rivers, lakes, oceans, and glaciers. So basically, Earth water is always moving between the rivers, lakes, oceans, glaciers, plants, and deep grounds. Okay. It can be absorbed by soil and plants and it can sink deep underground. Water evaporates into the atmosphere and it can return to Earth's surface as rain or snow. This continuous motion of water is known as water cycle. Okay, so basically, we said that Earth water is always moving between rivers, lakes, oceans, glaciers, underground, etc. So it goes up into the sky, which you can say evaporates, and comes back down as rain or snow. So this non-stop movement is called water cycle, okay? So basically water never stays still. Like the same water you drink has been traveling around the world for millions of years, moving from the ground to the sky and back again in a big endless loop, okay? So the next one is water cycle diagram. Okay, this diagram is a model of the water cycle. It shows some of the process that move water through the atmosphere across Earth's surface and under the ground. So basically, it shows a picture map model of the water cycle. Like, look at this. Wait, yes. So it pointing out how water travels through the air, across the land, and under the ground. Think of this as a visual road map for water. Like it uses arrows to show exactly how water moves up into the clouds, follow. You can say it flows down mountains and travels hidden underground. So the processes like evaporation, condensation, precipitation, these are the processes which we will discuss in detail. Okay. Okay. So the next one is evaporation. Okay. Most liquid water on Earth is found in bodies of water, such as oceans, lakes, and rivers. As these bodies of water are warmed by the sun, some of the water at the surface changes from a liquid to a gas called water vapors. The process of water changing from a liquid to a gas at the surface of an ocean, lake, or river is called evaporation. So basically, most liquid water is in the ocean, lakes, and rivers. And when the sun heats them up, water at the surface turns from a liquid into a invisible gas, which you can say water vapors. So this process is called evaporation. And think of it like imagine leaving a puddle of water out on a hot, sunny day. After a few hours, the puddle disappears. The sun heated the water and turned it into an invisible gas that floated up into the air. Okay, so this is an example of evaporation. So the next one is condensation. So, though water vapor is not visible, it makes a part of the air that surrounds us. When water vapor rises in the atmosphere, it can cool down enough to form water droplets around particles in the air, changing back into liquid water. The liquid water is visible in the form of clouds. The process of water changing from a gas to a liquid is called condensation. Okay, so basically, we are saying that even though we can't see water vapors, it is all around us in the air. As it rises high into the sky, it cools down and turns back into tiny liquid water droplets around particles in the air. These droplets clump together to form clouds, and this gas to liquid process is called condensation. Like, this is the exact opposite of evaporation, you can say. When invisible water gas gets cold, it turns back into liquid. You see this happen when you take a hot shower and the bathroom mirror fogs up with water droplet. And in the sky, this fog forms cloud. So the next one is precipitation. Okay. So clouds are made of many tiny water droplets and ice crystals. If these water droplets and ice crystals become large enough, they can fall towards Earth's surface as rain, by snow, sleet, or hail. So the process of water clouds towards falling from clouds towards Earth's surface is called precipitation. Okay. So you can say that when clouds get too crowded and heavy with water, they can't hold it anymore. Gravity pulls the water back down to Earth depending on how cold it is outside. It falls as rain or snow. Okay. So the next one is surface runoff. Okay. Rain that reaches Earth's surface can begin to move downhill and it may become part of a stream or river. The process of liquid water flowing along the surface of Earth is called surface runoff. Okay. So we're saying that water always looks for the easiest way down. When rain falls on a hill or mountain, it slides down the land just like a water slide and empties into nearby rivers or oceans. Okay, so the next one is evapotranspiration. Most soil contains liquid water which can evaporate directly from the ground. Water from the soil is also absorbed by plants and then transpired or released as water vapors through tiny holes in the plant's leaf. So the combination of evaporation from the ground and transpiration through plant is called evapotranspiration. Okay. So in easy wording, that this is a big word for two things happening at once. Like the first one is the dirt dying up in the sun and plants breathing out water vapors. Think of it as a combo of the ground drying and plants sweating water back into the air. Okay, so this process is basically you can say transpiration, like water can evaporate straight out of the wet soil. At the same time, plants absorb water from the ground and releases it as water vapors through tiny holes in their leaves. Together, evaporation from the ground and plant sweating. This is called evapotranspiration. Okay, so the next one is infiltration. Okay, so liquid water can sink below Earth's surface through soil and certain types of rock layers. The process of water moving from above the ground to below Earth's surface is called infiltration. Okay, so imagine pouring water onto a dry sponge or a patch of dirt. The water does not just sit there, it sinks right in. Infiltration is just rainwater soaking deep into the dirt like a giant sponge. Okay, so the next one is groundwater flow. Okay, so groundwater is water that has collected below Earth's surface. Groundwater can be found in the spaces between soil and layers of rocks and even inside certain types of rocks. Pressure and gravity can make groundwater move to different locations below Earth's surface. So the process of liquid water flowing below Earth's surface is called groundwater flow. Okay. So in easy wording, that there is a whole world of water hidden right under our feet. Once after soaks into the ground, gravity keeps pushing it along through underground rocks and dirt, slowly moving it from one place to another. Okay, so this process is groundwater flow, like water that collects underground in the spaces between soils and rock is groundwater, and gravity and pressure can push this water to different locations. Okay, okay. So the next one is carbon cycle. Okay. So carbon is a chemical element. It is a sixth element listed in the periodic table of elements. Okay. So this is a periodic table and carbon is a sixth element like this. This is the blue one is. Okay. So everything in the universe is made up of basic building blocks called elements, and carbon is one of those very important building blocks. And scientists number it as number 6 on their master list of elements. Okay. So carbon is essential for all living things on Earth. In fact, all of the cell in every living thing contains some carbon. Okay. Basically, carbon is necessary for all living things on Earth, and every single cell in our body contains carbon, and it also found in non-living things. The movement of carbon between living things, the atmosphere, the oceans, and Earth crust is known as carbon cycle. So, the way carbon moves between living things, the air, the oceans, and the earth crust is called the carbon cycle. So, just like water, carbon is recycled over and over again. It lives inside you, inside trees, in the airs we breathe out, and even in the rocks. And the carbon cycle is a story of how carbon travels back and forth between living creatures and the earth. Okay, so this is it.